We're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Masks are horrible. And one of my friends said that his friend fainted because of a mask. Wow, congrats. And you don't even know how these other kids feel. They're breathing in the same dirty air, and my cousin said they're afraid to take off the masks. Great job. You're creating public schools with fearful children. Wow. I'm so proud of you guys. Wow, amazing. And I don't think barely anybody likes masks in schools. Their children are suffocating. You don't know what it feels like, and it's nonsense. Seriously. Why would you do that? Why in the world would you do that? And God created us so we can be free people. And we're not being free here or at public schools, okay? So I would take your masks off if I were you. And I'm not wearing a mask right now, and I never will as much as I can. And George Washington made America so we could be free citizens of the United States of America. And the Statue of Liberty is for liberty and freedom, and we're not free. So maybe you just don't believe in George Washington or God, or the boss of you or someone is controlling you. Stand up and take these masks off these children. Don't be afraid.
Go. Okay. Okay, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to fight for. How about that little girl? I would say that little gem is about smarter than about 30% of American adults right now. Liberalism. Find a cure. Find a cure. You ever see Mark Dice? Look up Mark Dice. He's hilarious. I'm going to buy his t-shirt. It says liberalism. Find a cure. Has a little blue ribbon. How funny is that? How perfect is that? So, welcome to the new space paid for by stimulus money. Fortunately, I was able to keep working, so I bought all these as weapons to fire back at this global juggernaut we call the liberal left. The liberal dumbass left. So we're going to shift into basically information warfare. This is what we are being attacked with. Well, we're attacked in a lot of ways. We're attacked chemically with information. We're attacked in our food, our water. Basically everything we do. We're being attacked. If we don't submit to their stupid ideology, then they'll attack us in every way. Even if it doesn't make any fucking sense, you're gonna get attacked. So, we live in two realities. There can only be one truth, though. I mean, let's face it. Who went crazy, apeshit crazy in the last 5 years? The Dems. They went over the edge because they know they've been exposed. I think Daddy Donald did a number on them and exposed so much. He gave credibility to those independent journalists who are the actual real journalists, like Project V with James O'Keefe. I'm sure that'll trigger the AI right there, Project Veritas. I'll just say it. Who cares? He recently exposed Facebook. They've set up a three-tier system judging how you perceive vaccination. So they're going to start segregating people in this way. Is this not the creepiest shit you've ever heard? I shit you not. This just came out. Now, they have now caught CNN working against the people of America, Twitter working against the people of America in direct collusion with foreign countries, foreign entities, globalists who see us as something to be destroyed. So this is an emergency. This is no laughing matter. This is really can be defeated, though, if we just understand. The lady who ran the railroads that helped the slaves escape said that if only more slaves knew that they were slaves, she could have saved so many more. And this is where we are right now. So many people don't even understand the situation, that it's hard to save them all. Honestly, only about 30% of America is fallen for this bullshit. That is a big number of zombies just running around spreading bullshit like that. I mean, honestly, to me, they literally are the apocalyptic zombies at this point, because they're just running around destroying everything, lighting fires and smashing everything, and just completely flipping out over a lie. Something that's being spoon-fed to them by the media. Some of them must know, though. That's hard to understand. At what point do you really just say, this is a little unusual? I mean, I voted for President Obama. I'm a Democrat. Everyone in my family is a Democrat. And so now everyone's switching over to either an independent or a Republican side because the Democrats are completely out of control. They don't even know what to do anymore. Their lies have gone so far that they have it's like they're like this wild animal just backed into a corner. They don't even know what to do anymore, so they just lash out. They lash out in any way, and they do it, and it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous to see them try to push their agenda forward with the ridiculous things they say. However, and everyone was so mad about the election because clearly the whole system's broken. We know. Listen, guys, are you trying to tell me that more people voted in this election than ever before? I swear, probably most of the people probably didn't even want to get involved in this election. So Biden got as many votes. He got more votes than Obama. There's no way. And at the same time, Daddy Donald got more votes than he did the first time in the first election, and Biden got more than Obama. There is no way he ever could get more than Obama. Obama was so popular. I could do a parody video and show how Obama said the exact same things about the border, immigration, the economy, trade. It's sad. It's sad how he has just turned into this monster over time, because I believed in everything. I was behind him 100%. 100%. I hated politics until I heard him speak, and I said, "Whoa, oh, this guy he better be careful because what he's talking about is fixing everything. And boy, maybe because, you know where I was selfish, I said maybe because he's black, they won't fucking shoot him. Suckers. The powers that be won't be able to shoot Obama. And then it didn't work. And after 8 years, I'm like, what happened? And then I went looking for the answer. And I found the answer. And a global plan unfolded right in front of me. And it's about the scariest shit I've ever seen. Because it is the New World Order. It is here, the New World Order. It's operating in plain sight, the New World Order. We're out there acknowledging UFOs for the first time, but, you know, Orange Man bad. Guys. Anyway, that's not what I came to say today. I'm starting to rant. I'm sorry about that. But you know what? We are living in two realities. And if the conservative reality is the wrong reality, then where are the retractions that the Democrats, they retract their shit day after day after day after day. But the headline happened a month ago, so the damage is done. They give very little attention to the retraction, but the headline a month ago was a spectacle. So your average dumbass, Joe Dumbass, is just watching TV, and they remember that headline. But the retractions, they may not even ever see that because they do that in an obscure way that it can't be seen. See how that works? See how that shit works? Meanwhile, guys like Project Veritas are exposing heads of huge companies, CNN, Facebook, Twitter, insiders who've heard the plan, and it's all crooked. It's all collusion. These people are protected from lawsuits under the government, but they attack this government. All that needs to end. Their protection needs to end. You see what DeSantis is doing in Florida? He's moving to sue them. This is huge. You know, this loss we took, we all know who won. But what's happening also is things are falling to shit so fast that even those idiots who think they won are like having like buyer's remorse maybe at this point. They're like, whoa, shit. Gas out of control, Middle East out of control. It's like Jimmy Carter all over again. Inflation out of control. And who stepped in and fixed it all? The conservatives, Ronald Reagan. Who warned us against socialism. Look it up. Look it up. This is the exact same situation again. And it only took like 15 minutes. And what's funny is when Trump went in there, he fixed it all. And he could, if they would have stepped out of his fucking way, he could have done it in like 15 minutes. But that's okay. That's okay. Because it proves we're on the right track, doesn't it? You know, war pilots talk about flak. You know you're over the target when you're taking a lot of flak. It's a good comparison. I learned that one from, Alex Jones. He used to say that. I said, that's a good analogy. They know they're in trouble when they start firing everything they have. Spending ridiculous amounts of money. They're watching CNN going to the toilet. They would rather burn it to the ground. They would rather burn it to the ground than say, he was right about America. They know. They know. They're trying to burn us to the ground. Hey, CNN, and all you, I know you are attacking us. We know it. 70% of us know it. So you can lie all day, but you're only fooling about 30% of America. So everybody realize that. If you believe this horse shit, there's only about 30% of you. So There's no way for you to win. There's no way for you to win. This is going to play out in our favor. So it's a race now. Can they destroy the economy and create enough ridiculous chaos? Can they create total chaos in enough time before we start throwing their asses in jail? I mean, that's what this is about, really. We have them. We have them. They know it. They know it. All they can do is bark their lie and bark out their lie and bark out their lie. It's just like when you're arguing with someone who knows they're wrong and they're backed into this corner and they start to flip out really loud. Because that's all they got. Does that not personify the left at this moment? Bunch of goddamn morons fighting. They know we have them. We have their head underwater. That little girl is a very good indicator of what you Dems are facing in the very near future. Okay? She's not going to stand for it. I'm not going to stand for it. And once America knows we outnumber you, they're not going to stand for it. Most of them are not going to stand for it already. You know, I mean, the Dems is who I'm talking about. The Republicans, there's absolutely no way they're going to stand for it. There's absolutely no way. I mean, while the Dems have been trying to figure out which bathroom to use, I mean, the Republicans have basically been stockpiling about 8 trillion bullets. So, I mean, I don't even think, even though you see these ridiculous woke military videos, that's not the military. Never was, never will be. It's all a lie. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. Don't listen. Question everything. Don't fall for it. If it seems crazy, it's probably crazy. Probably crazy. I've never seen craziness like this before. I never thought that the UFO information would start coming out and it's secondary news. It's on page 2. Right after January 6th incident and they're finally having to admit that the BS-19 actually did come out of a fucking lab, didn't it? Sure did. It sure did. But, whatever. That's fine. Anyway, let's move on. Because I want to talk about the alternate reality. Which I keep going off subject. But, another good example is, defunding the police, which is now completely backfiring on the Democrat. I mean, Minnesota's a good example. The murder rate doubled immediately, has already doubled. Okay? And since George Floyd's death, 19 children have been shot. So I want to thank you, Dems, for supporting all that shit. Because their blood is on your hands. 19 children are shot. Murders doubled. I don't know how many are children. I'm not sure if I heard that number. I don't remember that number. So whoever's following all this evil bullshit, this is your fault. Okay? This didn't have to happen. You're so stupid. Defund the police. Defund the police. I hear that some people are refunding the police and actually having more money having to put in because of all the mess that have been made. Thank you for all that. Thank you for all that. And the craziness at the border. Thank you for that. You idiots. You idiots who are falling for this bullshit. Thank you for that. And all the women getting raped and the cartels being, getting richer by the minute. They're making stupid money. Stupid money on these ignorant people who get thrown into the river at the first sign of trouble. Daughters getting raped. Thank you so much for that. What else can I thank you for? High gas prices. Thanks so much for the high gas prices. in the United Socialist States of America, the USSA, where gas prices are doubled. They've doubled already. They're nearing $4 here where I am. They're under $2 where I am. Huh? Yeah. And thank you so much for that. The problems in the Middle East. Okay? Thank you for that. Historic peace in the Middle East goes to rockets. Just a barrage of rockets. In how long? That didn't take long. Celebrated by the Jihad Squad in the House of Representatives. You know what I mean? Those fucking morons. You know what I mean? And they're getting a lot of splashback though. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Some people are actually standing up now. And probably one of my favorite people is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she's doing the job everyone should be doing right now. And everybody else do something like what I'm doing right now. Talk to somebody. Speak out. Okay? Because we're going to give you some neutral news that is not clouded by emotion. We're gonna deal with numbers here, kids. We need to start dealing with real numbers. You know what? You can thumbs up or down this fucking video or not, or you know what? Because I'm here to show YouTube that you need to take your money and go do what you want with it, but you cannot use it to harm people or the United States or any other country. Okay? You know, YouTube is great because of the people on it, not because of Google, not because of censorship or any of that shit. Not because of any of that shit. It's the people. That's the people. And if you have to censor so heavily, well, guess what? We have a different opinion. Okay? The people have a different opinion sometimes than you do, Google. I'm sorry. Okay, you're going to have to get over yourself. Okay? So anyone watching this, don't watch YouTube. Watch this on Rumble. Watch it on Rumble. Don't watch it here. I don't want their money. They're going to strike me and strike me and strike me till I'm gone. So I'll just pop up in another one. And it'll be fed to Rumble until they die. Because, you know, maybe Google one day I'll sell YouTube to somebody cool. Somebody cool. You know, there's European countries that are way ahead of us now. That are gone totally nationalist. But that's a different video. Right now I want you to focus on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here's a clip.
You can't discriminate against people simply because they won't wear a mask. And today, I refused to wear a mask on the House floor, and I received a warning from Speaker Pelosi that leads to fines if I continue to refuse to wear a mask. Well, here's what I think of your warning, Speaker Pelosi.
What an amazing person. This is someone how do I say this? I've never wanted to move to Georgia so bad. I would walk through the fire. I want to go protect this lady. I want to stand behind her and watch her back. This is president material. I would, Madam President, this lady, I would walk through the fire with this one. This one is extremely impressive, and we need to protect her. She needs to be put in a very high position real quick, and we got to protect her. I personally want to go to Georgia. Thanks for being here today. Hope you enjoyed the information, and please keep watching Marjorie Taylor Greene kick ass on the New World Order.
I stand by all of my statements. I said nothing wrong, and I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person doesn't like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates and overbearing vaccine policies.
Do you understand, though, why some would be upset and offended by the comment?
Well, do you understand how people feel about being forced to wear masks or being forced to have to take a vaccine or even have to say that whether they've taken it or not? These are just things that shouldn't be happening in America. This is a free country.
Hi. So can you tell me about why you think it is so important to ask Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for a debate? And she says that she feels threatened by it.
So she feels threatened to be able to discuss the policy of the Green New Deal. Is that what she's saying?
The manner of which you confess her.
There's nothing wrong with the manner. Here, I'll explain some that I was just talking about up there. Since I have been a member of Congress, I have been kicked off of my committees by the Democrats when there were no ethics violations against me. Not one. I did nothing wrong. You know what else happened? Representative Cori Bush attacked me in the tunnel, screaming at me. Screaming. I never said a word to her. She goes by screaming at me to put on a mask. That's a verbal assault. You want to know what else happened? The delegate from Guam marches the National Guard on my office. Can you imagine? On a woman's office, a female member of Congress.
I'm with NBC as well. Hi. So can you tell me about why you think it is so important to ask Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for a debate? And she says that she feels threatened by it.
So she feels threatened to be able to discuss the policy of the Green New Deal. Is that what she's saying?
The manner of which you confess her.
There's nothing wrong with the manner. Here, I'll explain some that I was just talking about up there. Since I have been a member of Congress, I have been kicked off of my committees by the Democrats when there were no ethics violations against me. Not one. I did nothing wrong. You know what else happened? Representative Cori Bush attacked me in the tunnel, screaming at me. Screaming. I never said a word to her. She goes by screaming at me to put on a mask. That's a verbal assault. You want to know what else happened? The delegate from Guam marches the National Guard on my office. Can you imagine? On a woman's office, a female member of Congress. I had over 30 National Guard marched on my office by the delegate of Guam. Thank God I wasn't in there. What else happened? Marie Newman, that's across the hall from me. She shoulder checked me right there inside in front of the Capitol Police yesterday. And she went by, hit my shoulder. I said, "Excuse me." She said nothing back, kept going up the floor. That's a physical assault. Today, Eric Swalwell, walking in here, my staffer nicely says to him, "Congressman, you don't have to wear your mask anymore." Because Biden was what Biden said yesterday. He chases my staffer inside, everybody saw it, and gets in his face, curses at him, saying, "You don't tell me what to do." The Democrats are the party of aggression and violence. We have AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, publicly and on their social media and speaking on the House floor, supporting Hamas, terrorists who are attacking Israel with rocket fire after rocket fire, and they're supporting the terrorists. They're also supporting Antifa and BLM terrorism all over the country. And then I get harassed by the press every single day about January 6th, and I've said the entire time, literally starting on that day during the riot, how much I'm upset by it, how much I'm against it, and how appalled at it that I am. I was a victim of it as well. So if we want to talk about assault, if we want to talk about aggressive behavior, we need to be interviewing the Democrats. And AOC should be able to debate her policy because I'm a successful business owner. She's never done that. I know for a fact what socialism will do to our country. The American people know it. The American people want to see a debate about the Green New Deal, which is written into all of these garbage bills that we have to vote on every single day.
So we do talk to Democrats. We'll put that aside. We talk to them all the time and ask them similar questions. But for you today, do you think that constant confrontation with these members of Congress, which is really something that we really haven't seen in Congress in a very long time. Does anything need to change?
No. You want to know what you haven't seen in a long time? You haven't seen a member of Congress willing to hold people accountable for the actions that they're committing. You see members of Congress, like Democrats, constantly getting away with things. Why don't you ask Nancy Pelosi why she denied 10,000 National Guard troops to be here on January 6th, when after January 5th, there were 2 pipe bombs found at the RNC and the DNC? That's a good question. That's accountability. See, there's nothing wrong with me pushing things out there, asking questions, pushing for debate. That's exactly what I should be doing to represent my district.
Congressman, you had one conversation with Ocasio-Cortez on the floor that was, from what I understand, relatively simple. What did that entail?
That was me asking her to debate the Green New Deal. And you know what she said? She said, this is where we debate, the chamber. And she said, and on C-SPAN. And I said, great, we'll debate it in here and I'll set it up.
And that was it?
That was basically it. Other than me telling her you've never owned a business before, so you have no idea what your socialist policies are going to do to businesses and to our country. And then she told me, well, I've launched restaurants. And I said, well, you never owned one.
In Florida over the weekend, you said that Joe Biden is not the president and that Donald Trump is still the president. Do you believe that? That Joe Biden did not win the election?
That is not what I said. I said Donald Trump is my president. He's my favorite president. I think he's the greatest president this country has had. Yes, Joe Biden is the president.
Do you think he legitimately won the election?
I have a lot of questions about the election, and there's nothing wrong with asking questions about the election.
So you don't think
Remember
he
the
legitimately
hashtag
won the
resist
election?
crowd? Remember the Russian collusion conspiracy theories that you guys probably talked about nonstop until all of us wanted to vomit? And then guess what we found out? Russian collusion conspiracy. They were lies. It was all lies. Listen, taxpayers pay for elections. They're customers. Here's something new y'all need to think about. Taxpayers are customers. They pay for the ballots. They pay for the machines. They pay all the people in the elections. There's nothing wrong.
Okay, so Joe Biden did not win the election.
Excuse me. That's your word.
No, I'm asking
That's
you.
your
You
words.
haven't said that yet.
I haven't finished. You've rudely interrupted me. There's nothing wrong with taxpayers and
because you're not answering the question.
Because I'm not finished talking. Stop being rude and interrupting me. Taxpayers can ask to have an audit of their election. I support that. And if you know what, if everybody
there were audits, there were many audits.
No, there have not been many audits.
In Arizona,
there's one going on right now, and the
previous
Department of
ones.
Justice is trying to shut it down, and the Democrats have sent attorneys trying to shut it down. Let me ask you a question: if you won a race, wouldn't you be like, okay, I won my race? And somebody said, well, let's watch the film and make sure you won the race. And you know you won the race, and you're like, sure, let's watch the film. It's the same thing. If everybody won, what's wrong with just taking a look to satisfy the people that want to know? There's nothing wrong with that. And guess what? They paid for it in the first place.
Thanks, Congresswoman.
I ask unanimous consent to address the House for up to 5 minutes and advise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to the commission to study the events of January 6th, as well as spending $2 billion in security supplemental. The question that comes to mind is this: what about all the riots that happened during the summer of 2020 after the death of George Floyd? What about all the damage caused to federal buildings, churches, people's businesses, and innocent people that were killed, like David Dorn? This past summer, Minneapolis city officials estimate 700 buildings were damaged, burned, or destroyed, including 360 local businesses. Riots caused an estimated $55 million in damages in Minneapolis alone. BLM and Antifa established an autonomous zone in Seattle and attempted to burn government buildings in Portland. Is that not an insurrection? On one Friday night alone in New York City, BLM protesters caused over $100,000 in damages and 150 people were arrested. Just one Monday night in Philadelphia resulted in a crowd of 1,000 people looting stores, setting fires in the middle of the street, and 30 police officers injured. Protests in Kansas City resulted in $2.1 million in damages, mostly over the course of one weekend. Several officers were injured as well. Protests in Wichita, Kansas cost the police department about $1.5 million in overtime. Protests in Salt Lake City cost at least $100,000 in damages. Protests in Denver cost the city at least $5.5 million in damages and overtime. BLM protests in Nashville set a federal courthouse on fire. The destruction is estimated to have cost $1.2 million in damages. Again, is that an insurrection? Protesters in Portland destroyed barriers and attempted to burn down government buildings, resulting in $2.3 million in damages, including $1.6 million in damages to the courthouse downtown. In St. Louis, following the night of violence, buildings were looted, vandalized, and burned. Protesters in Louisville set the courthouse on fire and shot 2 cops, resulting in a state of emergency ordered being declared. Protesters in Kenosha, Wisconsin, injured. Police officers set off fireworks near the building and courthouse and set at least 2 city trucks on fire. In Guilford County, North Carolina, a courthouse was broken into, set on fire, resulting in roughly $200,000 in damages. Protests in Oakland, California, resulted in a courthouse being set on fire and vandalized. The LAPD was defunded by $150 million, and some smaller crime units were eliminated entirely. Studies show 570 protests in 220 U.S. locations turned violent over the summer. Are those not insurrections? The $1+ billion in riot damage is estimated to be the most expensive in insurance history. It resulted in up to $2 billion of damages in 20 cities across the U.S., mostly concentrated in LA, Detroit, Miami, DC, and New York. Indeed, we should have a commission to study the violent BLM and Antifa mobs that have plagued American cities this past summer. And that's for the American people who, by the way, pay the taxes that fund everything we do here. Also, we should have a security supplemental to fund all the police departments that have been defunded due to the pressure from radical, violent, and socialist groups. We should back the blue because they certainly back us. Also, while it's catch and release for domestic terrorists, Antifa, BLM, the people who breached the Capitol on January 6th are being abused, some even being held for 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. So, Mr. Speaker, my questions are this. Who placed the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC, which is an attack on both Republicans and Democrats? Why was President Trump's request on January 5th for 10,000 National Guard denied? And who denied it? And what chain of command did they follow? Also, who killed Ashley Babbitt? And why is that not being revealed? Does her family not deserve justice? And lastly, when will the witch hunt of Donald J. Trump come to an end and all of those who support him? I rest my time.